Hey friends, it's Jen Hoffman here. For all my regular listeners, this isn't a normal episode of the podcast. I'm interrupting our regular programming to talk about something that's been on my heart and mind, and to ask you to join me on a very simple but powerful mission. True confession, I'm terrified about doing this, but I know in my heart this is too important to let fear stand in the way. When I'm scared but determined, I often call on my friends to help. I'm so grateful that my beloved friend Heather Filipowicz answered my call. Here's our conversation.
Hello, my beautiful friend. I'm so grateful to be here.
So let me give everyone the backstory on how we got to this exact moment. Well, not our full life story, but the quick and dirty is that I guess it was almost 2 years ago, right? It was in December whenever I first met you. Yeah. I happened to sit down in a seat at a mastermind day-long conference next to this beautiful woman. And if ever there was a divine appointment, it was this one, where I think we got to connect pretty well that day, but we live, how far away from each other do we live, Heather? Like
an hour and 15 minutes, not even. Yeah.
Not that far, but we have not, life, kids, the seasons. There's been many times we've planned to get together, and then hurricanes and fevers and all kinds of stuff have gotten in our way, but we've deepened our connection from that day solely online. And you're a perfect example of the power of online. I know it gets a lot of slack from people about how it can be demeaning and all kinds of stuff, but you are a person who I have built such a beautiful connection with, mostly online, and I'm so grateful for you.
I feel the same way, my friend, the same way. So fun.
So what happened was about a week ago, right? I think it was about a week ago. I was driving in the car and I was listening to something not at all election related. And let me just caution anyone who hears me say the word election and wants to shut off. This is not a political discussion. We're not going to talk about candidates. We're going to talk about the process of us as people. But what happened was I was just kind of thinking about how divided our country feels, and how kind of, I guess the best word is separate. We feel so separate and disconnected. And I feel it in a way that makes me honestly afraid. I'm not sure that I feel afraid of what our country is going to look like on the Wednesday after Election Day, because I don't know how we're going to overcome the separation that's come between many of us over the last few months or year, however long this has been going on. But what I was thinking about is there a candidate that can bridge us together? And that's when it hit me over the head. Oh my gosh, it's not a candidate. It's not any president. It's not any congressman. It's not a political person who makes the connection that's between us. It's us. So I started to think of how we can reconnect as people. And I got this harebrained idea that one of the most powerful practices taught amongst all religions, Christianity, Judaism, Buddhism, Hinduism, a lot of religious teachings talk about the power of collective prayer and meditation. And, there's Bible verses, there's teachings in all different kinds of scriptures. So no matter what your religious belief is, I think you can respect this, that when people gather together and agree on a particular prayer, that prayer or meditation has power because of the collective. And so I got this idea that what if we put out a call to people to pick a particular time to pray and meditate for connection and peace amongst the people of our country, and even bigger, of our world, on Election Day. And as this kind of harebrained idea was coming to me, I thought, is this like a legit idea, or am I being crazy? So I immediately contacted Heather. I called her via Facebook Messenger because I was like, I can't type all this out. And I don't think we talked right away, but we talked soon thereafter.
No, I was cooking Taco Thursday.
Oh, that's right.
So that's right.
I should have driven the hour to come join you for Taco Thursday.
The phone was ringing and I thought, that's Facebook. And then I look and it was you, which we don't talk on the phone.
No.
And I
No.
thought, oh boy, this is something big. And then the messages started for sure.
So then I started sending you texts because our Facebook messages.
Yeah.
When you get a Facebook message call from me, by the way, it's either that something big is going on or a kid has my phone. One of those two things, just as a side note. But because it's often I got a voicemail message yesterday from someone who was like, oh, I'm sorry I missed your call. And I didn't call her. It must have been one of the kids dialed it. But anyway, I started sending you messages like, what if we did this? And I think I called it a PeaceArmy in one of the messages that I sent you, where I said, what if we used our voices to ask people so often I think the suggestion is pray for your candidate to win. And this is not that. This is not about, in fact, I would ask people that if you're going to join with Heather and I to do this on election night, that you not make this particular moment or practice or prayer or meditation about a particular candidate winning, that you disconnect from that and think instead about what we hope for the state of our union, this is not about the candidate, this is about we the people. And that what if we asked people to come together and pray or meditate for our peace and connection with one another as fellow citizens of the U.S. and even of the world. And how did you feel, Heather, when you started getting those messages?
Well, I was sitting at the dinner table and, as a fellow yogi, the first thing I do is if I read something that I need to react to, I sort of check in. So what's my radar telling me, my life radar, my body radar? And I had goosebumps on my arm. And then I sat in it. I just got them again. I sat in it and I thought, the first thing that came across my mind is this could work. And then I thought about the idea of peace, community, coming together on that particular night after this particular time frame. And it really, it was a visceral yes, right? So that was when I think I wrote you back and said, you're not crazy.
I was so grateful. I was walking through Epcot as I was messaging back and forth with you because I was heading there to meet some friends. And I felt this energy, this like excitement about it, not in a sense of basically the feeling I felt was hope. Because what I have been feeling as I listen to conversations from friends and people who I love dearly on both sides of the political spectrum for both their candidates, and I listen and I'm so worried about our country and our people and how we're looking at each other, like not the candidates, but how we're looking at each other. And as soon as you wrote back and said you thought it was a good idea and yes, you would join with me and do this, I immediately felt like, okay, wait, like this is something I can do. Because I think what I keep hearing over and over and over again from people is a lot of people sense the same thing that we sense. A lot of people are sensing this disconnection, but nobody knows what to do about it. And it feels like this big, huge problem. We're so disconnected. And the candidates are even talking about it. They're even talking about how disconnected and how we got to find a way to be united and to move forward and to find common ground and common solutions going forward. And I felt like I don't even know how that's going to happen. But after you said like, yes, I think we should do this, I thought, okay, I know my role. My role is definitely to vote. I think everybody should vote. But after you vote, after you've done that, Heather and I would like to invite you to join us and to spread the word to other people that you will spend. We're going to say, however, it can be one moment. It can be one quick word, one sentence prayer. It can be 5 minutes of prayer. It can be 15 minutes of meditation. I want this to be an invitation to you, regardless of your faith tradition, regardless of your political affiliation. This is non-denominational and non-political party. We want to invite you to join us at 8:30 p.m. on election night in your time zone. And Heather and I are both in the Eastern time zone, but we're both going to roll with you guys through the time zones. We're going to join you whatever time zone you're in. Heather and I are both going to start at 8:30 each time zone, and we are going to have a few moments of prayer and meditation around peace. And here's the really peace and connection and unity of our people. And that we believe that if we have that unity, that then our country's going to find a way forward. We're going to bridge forward and bring that peace and that unity even beyond the borders of our country. But here's the really powerful thing. I think this practice, as all faith traditions teach, not only changes the person who's doing it. The power of prayer and meditation has been shown to change the person who's praying. We're going to change for doing it. But and there's been many studies about this. It doesn't just change the person or the people who are praying or meditating, but that practice of communal prayer and meditation has the power to impact even people who aren't participating. And that's the real invitation. We're inviting you to join with us so that we can feel more peace and clarity ourselves, but so that we can also spread that beyond ourselves. Heather, I know you and I, like you've practiced yoga for a long time. I've practiced yoga for a long time. We have, and of course, as many of my already listeners know, I'm a Christian. So I was raised in the Christian church. I've had a long history with prayer and meditation. But what I would love to do is break down any barriers someone's having for feeling like, oh, I've never done that before, and it's really hard to do. So can you remember back to the time when you first started? Or Heather is just this very weekend after this release is going to be graduating from her yoga teacher training, which is so exciting. What would you say to someone, Heather, who feels like, oh my gosh, this is too hard. I've never done anything like this before. What would you say to someone who said that?
I believe it's as simple as taking a deep breath, closing your eyes, and uttering a single word or a phrase to yourself or out loud, whatever you're comfortable with. And that alone is enough to shift the energy and send out that message. So if it's as simple as that, it still matters. It all matters. If one of my favorite prayers, as many people will say, is just thank you. I mean, I utter thank you multiple times a day. I don't sit in a position and on a cushion or whatever, what people think it's supposed to look like. No, it's the noticing and the paying attention. And it could be just give us peace or be with us or we're all together. It can be as simple as that.
Yes, I was thinking help us to love each other, help us to find the common ground. Any kind of simple just request, like, again, whatever your faith tradition. I don't want to use words that make someone feel like they're excluded, because I want everyone to feel included. I believe that no matter what your faith and spiritual beliefs are, no matter what your political affiliation, that you can be a part of this, and we need you. We need you to join us. Heather and I can do this, and we are going to do this, but we would really love to have you join us. And we would love for this Peace Army to really get huge and recruit a whole bunch of people. You don't have to share some complicated message. You can just say to people, hey, at 8:30 on election night in your time zone, just send out a wish for peace. Send out a wish for love and connection among each other. Not a wish for a particular candidate to win or lose, but specifically that we would be connected and that we would find peace and unity among the people of our country. Easy, very simple.
So simple, but yet so profound. Yes. Of what's possible.
Absolutely. So here's your call. Your call is to, number one, set an alarm on your phone for 8:30 on election night. Definitely go out and vote, but don't forget 8:30 your time zone. Heather and I will join you. And then the second call is share this practice, share this Peace Army movement, that 8:30 on election night in whatever time zone you're in. You're going to spend a moment reconnecting with peace and love for your fellow citizens of this country and of the world.
Yeah, feels so good.
All right. We are incredibly, incredibly grateful for you taking the time to do that. We believe it's powerful and we believe it's going to have a positive impact. I have a lot of hope and encouragement that for a long time I couldn't find. So I hope you feel that too. All right. Heather, thank you so incredibly much. I am so grateful to you, my soul sister.
Thanks for being in my life, my friend. So grateful to you.
Okay, so we're going to put some graphics that you can use on social media. We'll give you a post that makes it easy for you to share to help recruit others to join us in this Peace Army. All kinds of links and resources available for you at healthymoving.com/Peace Army, or you can text Peace Army, all one word, to 33444. Thank you so much for joining us on this mission and for helping us to get the word out. We believe in this effort, and we believe that it's going to help a powerful shift happen in our country. Thank you for joining us and for hearing our hearts. Have an amazing week.